A conflict of interest occurs anytime where somebody has to make a decision that could beneficially or harmfully punish or help them that's making the decision. It's called a conflict of interest. Every time we see somebody in our office, I'm compelled as a CFP, as a certified financial planner, to tell you that I have a conflict of interest in this decision. That's my job. It's part of our ethics. But many times we have situations where we unknowingly put our family members into a conflict of interest situation. When you look at your trust, in many cases, the attorneys will tell you that it's okay to name your children as the successor trustees. Now, that has led, in my 34 years of experience, to many family crises long after mom and dad are no longer with us. We're going to talk about on Consider This program today why having a trustee that is a family member may not be the best way to go. Well, good morning and welcome back to Consider This program. I'm your host, Joe Clark.
And I'm Adam Harter.
And we are getting ready to talk about Genesis. No, not in this case, the Bible. We're getting ready to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart that some of you know, some of you don't know. I grew up in Muncie, went to Muncie Northview as the high school, had good old Greek and Latin derivatives and debate, and loved every minute of it. Just didn't really understand the people. They had a lot of money, and we didn't. Dad moved us to Benton County, where I fell in love with farmers my junior and senior year. And in 1984, we lost two family farms over what is called estate taxes at the time, and an archaic tax code that never should have existed. So when I got into this industry way back when, my passion really was estate planning, not the investment planning. It's probably why we let Adam do as the CFA and the chief investment officer. It's why we let him do the investment side. I care a great deal about estate planning. Now, you need to know I'm not an attorney, don't play one on TV nor radio, but we do have an attorney internally that we work with, and multiple attorneys throughout central Indiana that we work with on this estate planning side. One of the things that Adam and I are going to walk you through is why we believe that in many cases, when you look at the financial issues inside of your trust, that it should not be a family member or somebody who's going to be a direct recipient of those proceeds, so that there is no conflict of interest, that there might be a better solution. So, Adam, I'll let you start with your thoughts, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, I, too, am certainly not an attorney. Not only that, but I'm not a certified financial planner. So keep those two in mind. What I do have is 20 years of examples of sitting in rooms, hearing about problems, and knowing what led to them, and kind of having a composite idea of how to make that better. So from a certain degree, I can speak to the things that I've heard that speak to me personally that I think can translate into better ways. And I couldn't agree more. I think it's a terrible spot a lot of children are put into. Not all of them. I think sometimes it's a simple task to distribute things, but more often than not, it can be. So having children can be a real problem in terms of being trustee, particularly if they have siblings.
That's where it gets to be really ugly. So what I have seen is, let's say you have two kids. One is proficient in the financial world and one is not. You don't want to harm your family, so you name both of them as trustees, right? Now, you think you're doing the right thing by doing that because you expect them to work together, but we all know that really doesn't happen, right? My wife is named as a trustee in a trust. Now, we all know at the Clark household that really means I'm going to fill in, right? My name's not in the trust. I will tell her what to do if that ever got to that. You know, but people don't think this stuff through in terms of really what happens. So when you go through a trust, if you have a typical type of trust arrangement, you've got a period of time where you're making all the decisions and everything's taken care of you. You've got a period of time where the trust is taking care of you and somebody else is in charge. I rarely see, it does happen, I rarely see kids harm their parents there. Right? Most people who have a trust, the kids look at it and go, well, Mom, Dad, it's your money. You know, if you want to do this, we'll help you, and do that. The challenge comes when you have a brother who is responsible for the distributions after death, right? and a sister, or an outlaw, as I like to call him, somebody who's married into the family who thinks that the investment should be different or the distribution should be different. And then you have that conflict of interest that begins to come, right? So I'm going to put Adam on the spot because this is what I spent COVID doing, right? The 2020, we made the Financial Enhancement Group eligible to be a trust division. So we can serve as successor trustees for people who don't want to be trustees, or only have a kid that can be in that role, or have a bank where there's nobody who knows them and knows their story. And we can sit down and with our attorneys and your attorney, help you devise a strategy so that the kids can still be in charge of the life issues, but the financial issues can be passed on to the Financial Enhancement Group. So, Adam, we've talked about this because in my trust, I have, as successor trustees before the Financial Enhancement Group, I have what I call the three wise men, right? And you're one of them, right? So in order for something to happen, for there to be a distribution, there are three of you that had to vote. And as long as you all agreed, then that's what was going to take place to take care of my wife and my children. Mm-hmm. If I wasn't here, or if I wasn't able to take care of myself. So let's start with the, how would you, if I walked in, and because not everybody has three wise men in their life, we're around the financial world, so we're around smart people. We've been able to watch them for a long time. We've worked together for over 20 years, so we know each other well. Not everybody has that. How would you tell somebody to think about who should be their successor trustee?
Yeah, it is a darn tough question to answer because everybody's situation is different. They don't all have access to, as you put it, wise men around them, and it's tough to find the people who are absent that conflict. So that is the first level, is to talk about why it's unwise to, not unwise, but it can create problems. Put that child in there. But the first thing is really talk about people who are prepared to do that and want to do that. That I think is a missing step, and one that you and I encourage people to make, is not just to name people, but find people who are not only capable but willing. And so you got to find somebody who is fairly disinterested. I find it is helpful to a friend or somebody that knows the kids too, so that truly cares about them, so they know your intent, or kids or whomever they're taking care of, that they know that your intent, but then they also have somewhat of a close relationship that understand the people that they're taking care of as well. So finding those people that may be friends or at least close to that category, that have the ability to do it, and then also know that they're going to be doing it.
Yeah. So when I sit down and really tried to think this through, I've got two daughters and a wife, and they care about daddy, right? They know a lot of my emotional things, where I want to give, things that I care about, but none of them are really financial people. My daughters are in healthcare, right? And, my wife is a licensed teacher, and, it's the financial part is not hers. And so what we chose to do inside of our trust is really, and I think this is the direction that you're going to wind up going with yours, but, what we did was broke our trust into essentially two pieces. There's a document that creates and forms the trust that has all of the definitions and all of the legalese stuff that, again, the Financial Enhancement Group provides the verbiage that is necessary for that, but we have to work with your attorney, not our attorney. So we're able to go directly with your attorney and say, hey, here's the language we would like to see. Here's why. We help you design that estate plan, that legacy plan, if you will. And then inside of my trust, and there are now two parts. There is the financial trust, right? So that the successor trustee in this group has all of the financial power for distributions, investment decisions, those kind of things. And then there's what I call the life issues, or what we've named as the family trust, where it's Barb and Kaylee and Kendra, and they get to decide what's going on, where I get buried. They control the healthcare representative parts and all of those things that are not always included in a trust document, but we've kind of got them so that they mirror the ones that are on the outside, just not to create any confusion. And I really think that is what you're going to see happen, as we continue to go forward. I think more and more people are going to have to recognize what truly is a conflict of interest, and bad decisions get made over that.
Yeah, and I trying to put myself, I'm advantaged to whereas people hearing this may be disadvantaged in having that answer. I have a pretty good seat to know that I'd be leaving behind an investment program that is capable of being durable through time, and will take care of the assets that are to manage. And so I kind of have the knowledge that for people who have access to the financial enhancement group, like me, I have a better answer because I can turn to those solutions rather than having to find somebody that's going to then be burdened with finding good investment teams, and it's just my belief that we've built something that is durable through time, investment wise. So I can have that confidence that the trustee won't have to be worrying about how to invest the money over time. It'll just be taken care of.
So it's, what we can do is to demonstrate how that has worked because we've done it for so long. With the Financial Enhancement Group just this last week, November 1st, turned 24 years old. So next year we're celebrating our 25th anniversary and are very, very, very excited about that. But we can show how our distribution strategy has impacted and helped people. And you were a very, very large part of building that. That construct is the word that you would like to use in terms of this is how it works, right? And so it's certainly got your thumbprint all over it. And 30 years from now, I think it will probably still have that thumbprint, even though the two of us probably won't be here to be able to do that.
Well, and we've put it away to find new thumbprints too, the right thumbprints
Absolutely.
To get the next ones on there.
And here's where you get into the real problem. Most people name trustees. I haven't seen the data for a while, but 68% of beneficiaries are dead. We know that because insurance companies have already paid death claims, and yet they still have the beneficiary designations that they're able to see. That creates problems. Most trustees tend to be the same age as the person that they're taking care of, right? And so they all tend to slip or fade away, or the trustee flat out retires, and then you default to successor trustees that you never intended, like a bank. Most trusts say this person, if they can't do it, this person, if they can't do it, this person, and then, a commercial enterprise that has more than $100 million in assets. Well, Financial Enhancement Group qualifies for that last part, but it's just so much easier for people just to name it, to be able to have that specific name in, to know the person or people who are going to be working with your kids and your family and working with you when you cannot make those financial decisions. I would encourage you, when we talk about our next steps meeting, we're going to cover 5 critical elements. Obviously, retirement, what we call your life after work, the tax planning every year, the investment playbook, things that are going on in your life, but legacy planning, don't miss that. As James Clear said, success is never dependent upon one thing, but failure can be. Don't get those first 4 right and blow the legacy plan. We're here and we're happy to help. 800-928-4001.